Candyman, 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 Candyman. We're gonna wait and do that last Candyman after the review, just to be sure. My name's Austin with A-Hat Movie Reviews, and this is my first official movie review. It's for the 2021 Candyman, which is a remake of a 1992 movie starring Virginia Madsen and Tony Todd. Sort of a cult classic. Movie's directed by Nia DaCosta, starring Yana Abdul-Mateen II and Coleman Domingo. And basically, this will be a non-spoiler, by the way. I'll do a spoiler video after. But basically, it follows similar story to the 92 movie about the community in Cabrini Green that has been ravaged and just been down in the slumps, and at this point it's been torn down. And then we follow our main character Anthony, who is an artist who is going through a dry spell and just trying to kind of find his way again. When he begins to hear about the urban legend of Candyman, he starts to explore this and gets a little too deep in the weeds. So I'll say about this movie, first and foremost, this movie is extremely intense. There's a couple parts of the movie that really had me on the edge of my seat. The way Nia DaCosta uses camera angles in this movie to emphasize shock is really, really powerful. And because you don't always have to use splash and gore just like in your face, it can always be more subtle. And Nia DaCosta does a really good job of making it subtle but extremely effective. I think the performances all the way around are pretty good. The lead, Abdul-Mateen, who plays Anthony, he's extremely good, has a great way of conveying emotion with his facial expressions, and does a really, really good job in this movie. And then Coleman Domingo is also really good in a supporting role. We'll start with the pros. I'd say in general, the movie's paced very, very well. It's about an hour and a half, give or take, with credits. The movie flies by, has a really good pace. This movie improves on the original, I think, and it's hard to say that with a reimagining or a remake. It doesn't happen very often. You rarely ever say that the remake was better than the original, but in this case, I think it is. It's a stronger movie. The core central characters in this movie are really easy to follow, just like the 92 version, but you're only, in both movies you're kind of just following one character, and I feel like the lead in this movie is extremely absorbent. Also, I think the movie, towards the end, it wraps up rather quickly, but the ending is extremely satisfying. Especially considering a lot of horror movies nowadays just leave on just cliffhangers and just jump scares to set up another sequel. This is different, and this movie has a lot to say. Whereas I'll get more into this in my spoiler review, but I think this movie does a really good job of connecting with society and how the social culture that's going on today in this country. This movie has something very powerful to say, and I understand that, because this movie, there's a couple scenes in this movie. My favorite scene in particular is outside of an apartment complex where you see a wide shot of something that's going on inside of an apartment. It reminded me of the scene from Us, which coincidentally this movie is produced by Monkey Paw Productions. It's Jordan Peele's production company, so that's no surprise to me. And he's also a producer on the film. There's a lot of I wouldn't say similar shots, but shots that are reminiscent of a couple of them in Us. The core villain in this movie, which again I'll get to in my spoilers, extremely effective and surprising, because Tony Todd is so hard to replace. He's so iconic in that role, and so many people love him. So it's very difficult to convey a powerful, striking villain like he did in the 92 version. When it comes to cons, this movie doesn't have a ton of cons, but there's a couple characters in the movie that I felt were underdeveloped and things were rushed. Again, I'll get to that in my spoilers. This movie is very difficult to talk about without spoiling anything in regards to the context of the story and how everything ends up playing out. I think I would say that's one of my only negatives. Like I said, the movie's paced really well, wraps up really well, very, very good ending, good characters, good scares, and the subtlety of a lot of the violence that happens in the movie is, I'd say, the best and most powerful thing about the movie is they can be extremely effective while being subtle. So bravo to Nia DaCosta. I thought it was a great movie. If I were to give it a letter or a grade from a 1 to 10, I'd say probably an 8.3. And I think it tops the original, which is, like I said, very, very, very rare. And I'll see you guys on the spoiler video.